Hi David, how's
Hi,
the
James.
squad looking fitness-wise? We saw Kurt Zuma out there earlier.
Yeah, he's had a day back, so he's just started back really. He's just trying to see how his ankle is and how he's getting on. So hopefully he's making good progress.
Too soon, obviously, tomorrow.
Good chance that it's probably too soon, but we'll see how he feels tomorrow, and we'll make a decision on that. Yeah.
No new knocks?
I don't think there's anything of too much note. I think everybody's a lot of tiredness, a lot of fatigue round every camp at the moment in the teams in the Premier League. But I think we're all okay.
But to counter that fatigue, the win over United, that must have provided a real boost. Can that work to your advantage as we head into tomorrow's semi-final?
Well, I don't know if it'll work to our advantage, but it'll certainly give us the confidence. We hope that we've been missing at times this season. But it was a great performance. The players played ever so well, and I'm hoping that we can back it up again.
Sounds like morale's good anyway. In terms of Frankfurt and the pain of a year ago, can you use that as well, it being so recent, as a motivation?
I don't know if we can use it as a motivation, but I think we can hopefully use it as a learning tool, and maybe bits that we can probably pick from it, and look back at it on how the game went, and we were nearly enough chasing the game from minute one, real enough chasing the tie, I should say, from minute one. So hopefully we can pick up, we can be better than that. But overall, we played a really good opponent who went on to win that tournament.
What would it mean to you to reach the first European final in what, 47 years?
In my 47 years,
no, not yours.
I was wondering there.
in the clubs.
Yeah, it would be terrific. I think to reach any final for any team is a big thing. Everybody wants to try and be successful. It's very difficult to be a manager or at football clubs to be successful all the time. It's a hard thing. So we're trying. It was a great season last year, getting to the semi-final last year. We've done amazingly well to be in a semi-final just now. We're hoping that we can go one step further and make a final.
Yep.
Hello.
Hi there.
Hi. It's almost a career ago, but did you relive that night in Alkmaar the last couple of days?
I reminded some of my staff that I had a game in Alkmaar with Everton a long time ago, when I was the manager there. So, yeah, but as the thing goes on, there's that many games. There's probably about 500 or 600 games since I last done that. So time's moved on.
What about this game? Is West Ham United the big favourite?
No, I wouldn't say so, because I've got a lot of respect for AZ and the way they play and what they've got. I think they're doing an amazing season. So we've got a really tough opponent. I think any Dutch teams you play are always good. I think they're always good footballing teams, well coached. So it'll be a tough game for us.
Was it hard work for the scouts? Did you need to find a lot of information about AZ, or did you know something about them already?
I knew something about them. I knew about the way they're building a club, their young players, the model they follow. They've got a lot of exciting young players. They're following a way of several clubs are going, maybe a little bit towards the Moneyball side of things, signing a lot of young players, which I really like. It's a great model if it suits your club. And but I've got to say that they've got talented footballers. Their young players are doing exceptionally well. They've just won the UEFA League as well. So at the moment it looks like they're building for the future. But they've also got a very good team at this moment in time as well.
Yeah, so watch out for Max Meering, the young guy who scored in the Youth League final and made the penalty against Anderlecht. It's youth AZ.
Yeah, they have some terrific young players, and I saw one or two who played against Lazio in the game, but were also featuring still in their young team. So, let's be fair, it's something which the Dutch have always been renowned for, is producing young players, and their young teams have always been exceptionally good.
Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
Malik.
Hi, David. You mentioned fatigue there. I think this time last year, going into the Frankfurt game, it kind of felt like you're almost running out of steam with the league form. This year, it's almost the opposite. It feels like things are kind of just clicking in the league. Do you feel weirdly like you might even be taking more momentum into this game?
Well, I remember Sir Alex Ferguson always used to talk about this was the time of the year where you had to be at your best, because it tends to be that games that are really important could be semi-finals, could be finals. Maybe in league games you have to win. So I think having your best form at this time of the season is always a good thing. I do believe that we're playing some of our best stuff just now. I still think that we can get much better. I'm hoping that we're going to show that in the coming games.
Because you obviously brought a lot of players in the summer, and so that had its own problems in terms of the transition and stuff. But do you think you're seeing the benefit now of that bigger squad?
Yeah, I think I'm beginning to see what we signed, which were full internationals from different countries. Boys who had proved that they had talent and shown their worth in different other leagues. But again, coming to the Premier League at times can make it very difficult for people to settle. And it's not just us, players here. I can think of many clubs and many players who are having the same situation. But I do believe that many of them are beginning to find their way through it and beginning to understand it. And thankfully, we're doing much better.
I remember you saying, I remember you saying last year before the Frankfurt second leg that you hoped that would be your time to win a trophy. Is it a similar feeling for you this time, or has the experience of that just again hammered home to you how difficult it all is?
It certainly made me realise that it is, every tournament you play in is incredibly difficult to get to a semi-final or a final. Certainly here, for example, to win any of the major trophies in the UK with the quality of the teams. We saw one of them last night playing a game. The standard of the football teams that you've got to beat. So I think what we've done in Europe last season in getting to the final, the teams we had to beat, we obviously lost to the winners of the competition in Eintracht Frankfurt. And I think this year again, our season been more difficult. I think this year's been an amazing achievement, and we know it's seen as a lower competition. But I think still to be at this stage is great for us. And I said before, you can't take European football for granted, because every year, there's so many teams in the Premier League trying to get in that position. With us finishing 6th for the Europa League and last year 7th for the Conference League, no, that's no mean feat. And we know probably now it looks like more than certainty we can only get to Europe through winning this competition. So it'd be great if we could try and do that again.
Kieran? Alkmaar have averaged the youngest 11 in the Conference League this season. Do you sort of look at that and think, all right, that's not too bad, they're inexperienced, or do you look at it and think, or could be fearless sort of thing?
I look at it from a good point. I look at it as a great model if you can get it to work. And I think that because their team's winning, they're doing well, they've got momentum in a really good division with super teams. I think that one of the questions said, you're going to the games as favourites. Well, yeah, maybe we will, but I've got to say we're going to come up against a team with young, hungry players who are playing really well at the moment. And we're going to have to try and use our experience, which undoubtedly we'll have more experience than maybe Alkmaar would have. But overall, that doesn't always get you all the results, but we have to try and use it and give ourselves the best advantage we can.
Obviously, West Ham won the FA Youth Cup, Alkmaar won the UEFA League, and it's sort of two good football factories. And do you see that as the right way to go? Because these clubs can't afford to go and splash 100 mil.
I've always said that, I think having your own players, there'll be some clubs do it differently. The model that we're talking about, AZ, is probably quite extreme in a way how they might choose their players. But I've always thought that bringing young players in, your own young players, is huge. And I've got to say, I think Holland as a country are probably one of the best at developing their own young players and giving them opportunities to play.
Jordan?
Hi, David. You'll sit here and say that you're focused on the semi, not the final. That's a way away. But players dream. Jarrod sat here and said that he dreams of scoring the winning goal, and you may secretly dream. Is that something you need to embrace, not hide away from?
I don't think we've ever hidden away. I think I've always said, I want to get to the final. I want to take the team to the final if I can do so. But when you get to the semi-final, you've got another opponent. You want to show respect, and you want to give them that respect, because you have to be a good side to get to a semi-final. AZ have been shown how good they are and done it really well. They've beaten some big sides on the journey already. They had to put Anderlecht out. Prior to that, they had Lazio. So they've had some big games to get there. So I don't think them coming to us will be... They played at Ajax at the weekend. I don't think them coming to us will be a big fear for them. But do I want to get to a final? 100%. And we'll do everything we possibly can to do so.
And do you think you'll actually be able to enjoy it properly? Because I think this season Europe has been used as a distraction maybe from the league. But now where you are in the league and you're in a good position, you can actually say we're going to focus on this for what it is, and that's a semi-final?
Yeah, I think we can breathe a little more easier because of the result, the great result we had at the weekend. And let's be fair, our results in Europe have been really good. You know, we've had a really good run. You know, positive results, scoring goals, winning away, winning at home. So we have to try and keep that going. And if we do that, then we've got a great chance of getting to the final. But again, we have an opponent which, you know, at no time would I underestimate in any way.
Mike?
David, I appreciate you got to an FA Cup final with Everton. You got Everton into the top 4. But in the context of a difficult Premier League season this year, would it be your greatest achievement to get to a European final?
I think it to get to a European final, it could be, yeah. I've been really fortunate. I got to quarter-final of the Champions League with Man United. Lost in penalty kicks in the quarter-final of the Europa League with Everton. Last season I was in a semi-final with West Ham, and this year we're in a semi-final again. So I want to try and take it that one step further. It'd be easier to say it than what it is just now if I could get to a final. And I refer back to probably the serial winner in Jose Mourinho. You know, the serial winner found winning this trophy so special for him, for his football club, and for me. Then I'm saying, well, you know, if ever I needed somebody to show what it's like and how hard it is, it would be Jose, and he treated it as if it was so important. So there'll be no way I'm treating it any less than that.
Barely a month ago, you walked across the pitch at Fulham after winning 1-0, and there was a Moyes out banner among the away fans. It's a good job that the board didn't take the banner's sort of advice on board, isn't it? There's a lot to be said for sticking with. A lot of the teams around you in the Premier League have changed coach, but West Ham have been loyal to you, and this is your way of repaying them, isn't it?
Well, I think that the last 2 years, I think we've had a really successful seasons here at West Ham. In fact, I think they've been great seasons for West Ham. Obviously, we'd like to do better. This year's been a bit disappointing in many aspects, but not this competition. This competition, we've been excellent. I would say that the board have been clever, thought about it, and you know, I hope that they've probably realised that they've come to the right decision, and people would realise it was the right decision. So I think that overall, you know, the support I've had from David Sutherland, Karen Brady, you know, the Gold family, you name it, I've had great support from them, and when there was a lot of noise outside, they were incredibly supportive.
Gabby?
Hi, David. It sort of feels like this season in the league, when West Ham have had to win a game, when they've had must-win games, they have won those games. Does that give you confidence going into the latter stages of what is a knockout competition?
It does, because I think we've got big players. I think we've got players who've played in big games, big competitions, and I think this is the sort of moments that they probably were thinking this season. This is what it was going to be, and you know, we've been disappointed. We've not had that. This is as closest to a big occasion as we can get at the moment. So this is where, you know, you hope that your big players stand up. They come out and they show exactly what they're capable of. They showcase themselves, and you know, if we continue playing as well as we have done in some of the recent games, we'll give ourselves every chance.
And just on last year, in the first minute of the semi-final, you obviously conceded. Was that a situation where maybe it was the occasion got to the players, and have they learnt from that, do you think?
I don't know if I would say it got to the players, because I thought we were actually in a good place at the time. But I think it's just one of the things in football which, you know, you hope that it doesn't happen, and you hope that you learn a little bit from it. We talk about small things which are the details. It meant that probably after a minute we were really chasing the tie after that, in a way, you know, the rest of the game, and also having to go to Frankfurt for the second leg as well.
Okay, last couple now. Russia.
Yeah, David, just to follow up to that question, what are some of the lessons you hope your players would have learned from that loss against Frankfurt?
Well, I think it starts from the top. Starts from me, the leader. You know, your emotions, how you deal with them. You know, I got myself sent off in the second game, and which I didn't think helped my team. But we were up against it at that time. We were down to 10 men, and you know, things that we'd felt hadn't gone particularly well for us. So I still think that's something we need to control. We need to look to do better at that. We play in a league here which is probably still got the most physical element to it than there is in any other European competition. which is admired and respected all throughout the world because of the speed of the game, the tempo, the intensity, the ball and time play. All those things are really important to Premier League football. Quite often when we get to games like this, we're not quite sure what we're going to expect regarding decision making, how it's going to go. So it's something which we have to be able to adapt to and find ourselves changeable. And I think also the learning points are, watch that you don't do anything stupid. Make sure that you're giving yourself every chance in the game.
In terms of your recent interaction with fans, how often do they talk about the Conference League and how proud they are the club reaching this far in Europe?
It's incredible. The West Ham supporters I bump into are all saying, wow, and the amount of people who are coming to the game. I mean, we're probably, I don't know what it'll be, 65,000? 62,500 at the game, which is incredible for this league. And to be fair, there'll be very few clubs, I've said this before, all around Europe could get anywhere close to that level of support. So it shows you how much it does mean. We're fully aware of it. And I find all the West Ham supporters really buzzing that they've got a chance of getting to a final. I actually think last year, being in the semi-final, everybody was thrilled by it. We were disappointed we didn't make the final, but we're hoping that we can go one step better this year and reach the final.
And last for me, David, Lucas Paquetá spoke to the club's in-house media earlier this week, and he said you promised him you would dance if the club were to win the Conference League. So, you practicing a dance moves in front of the mirror?
It'll be that dad's dancing again. I'll be out. Don't worry about that. But don't know if I promised them it. But I don't want to dance with those Brazilians. I've seen their moves. So let's hope that there's an opportunity to try and do that.
I'm sure you've got a few moves up your locker.
Always has been. Bit of that disco fever stuff. I think a bit of that in the bag.
I think it's a good time to end. Thank you, everyone.
Jarrod, hi. To what extent has that win over United lifted morale and perhaps even lifted the weight from your shoulders?
No, yeah, it was massive, especially coming into the semi-final. I think back to the Ghent game that we had. We had the Arsenal on the Sunday before, which gave us a lot of confidence coming into it. So Sunday's result was obviously massive for the whole club, and coming into this game tonight, it's given us tomorrow night, it's given us a lot of confidence. And
to what extent, as well, can you use last year in Frankfurt, that defeat, that hurt, as motivation this time over these two?
Yeah, of course. We want to go 1-2 steps further. But we know the task at hand. It's going to be a difficult fixture. You don't get into a semi-final from being a bad team. So we know we're going to be in for a tough game over the two legs. But we feel ready and we feel like we're full of confidence going into the game.
And are you aware what it would mean to the club and the fans to? I know it's a few steps away, but to win that first major title in 40 odd years.
Yeah, no, it'd be massive for everyone associated, and that's our aim, that's our ambition. But like you said, there's still a long way to go for it. There's two legs that we've got to get through, but of course we want to win the competition.
Gentlemen,
I'm from the Netherlands. Hello. The sense of relief that must be in the club after Sunday, is it going to help you tomorrow night?
Yeah, I think so. Like I said, I think we can use it as a kind of springboard to help us tomorrow night. But we know it's going to be a difficult game. They're a really good side, and it's a European semi-final. So we know it's going to be a difficult game. We're at home first, so we can use that to our advantage with our fans and the atmosphere that I know that they're going to create. After the draw, what did you know of AZ, and what do you know now? Listen, I'm not going to lie, so I know everything about them. But we've done our prep. We've watched them. We've seen what they're good at. We've seen what we can potentially exploit in their game. And like I said, they're in the semi-final. They've beaten some big clubs to get here. And we know it's going to be a difficult game because you don't get handed a semi-final spot.
Alec.
Hi, Jarrod. This time last year, going into the Frankfurt game, that kind of occasion was quite new for you personally. It's been a long time for the club as well. I just wonder how you feel going into this semi-final. Do you feel like you've learnt from last year's?
Yeah, I think we can learn, but it's also exciting at the same time as well. I still think that level of excitement is still there. You're in the European semi-final and you're so close to achieving something that you want to achieve for the whole club. So yes, we can learn a lot from, I think, not just the Frankfurt game, all the knockout games that we had, and I think we've done really well in the knockout games that we've had this year to get to the stage that we're at now. And starting tomorrow night, it's about doing exactly the same things.
Can you use that specifically? I mean, last year a lot of it was the novelty factor for West Ham. It feels like it's flipped quite quickly to now you're the side who've got recent experience of an occasion like this?
Yeah, no, we can. I think we can use it in our, don't want to say advantage, but we've been here last year, but obviously this year we want to go one step further and not lose in the semi-final. I think that's the main aim.
Hi, Jarrod, at the back here. We spoke at the start of the season about your inspirations and what sort of players you can model your game on. You said about Mo Salah. I was just wondering, is it changed? Is there any different players you've sort of seen this season or across the top 5 leagues in Europe?
I still think Salah. I seen the other day he scored 30 goals, and people are saying he's having a bad season. So I think for the numbers that he produced consistently since he's been in the Premier League, he's still up there. But I also think obviously Bukayo as well at Arsenal. I had the honour to play with him at England as well and saw how good he was. And this season he's been phenomenal. So I think for those two are the ones for me, with the numbers that they produce and the quality that they play at.
And I spoke to the manager a few weeks ago, and he said that this competition's really kept heads above the water. Would you agree with that as a player? The mood has been significantly better despite where you have been in the league this season? Yeah,
listen, I think even last couple of years when we've been doing well, and even when we lost the game, spirits were still high, and I still think we've kept that same kind of belief in the changing room. Of course, it hurts. It hurts this season. What's happened? We haven't enjoyed it, but we've used that character that we've got in the dressing room to get us out of the position that we needed to get out of. And like you said, in Europe as well, we've used that and done really well in that, and we're in another semi-final. So, yeah, it's been a difficult season, but tomorrow we're looking forward to tomorrow.
And just one more, if I can ask, are you quite hard on yourself as a player? Because I know you've had a fantastic season, especially last year. Coming into this season, it's been quite up and down with the team itself. But are you a player that's quite hard on yourself, maybe overcritical at times?
Yeah, I think, and I've always been that way. I'll always be hard on myself before I'm praising myself. But yeah, for me, it's not been the season that I've wanted, if I'm honest. But we're in that situation that we're in. It's not one of those to sulk about, to be down about, because you've got to give your all for this club, and that's what I try and do every single week. And I always know that goals, assists, those things will come with my game, and it's about playing my game that I know I can play it. And the first half of the season, I wasn't happy with my performances, and I think I've been quite open and honest about that. But I think second half of the season, I feel like I've been back to a level where I'm happy with. So yeah, now for me to the end of the season, it's trying to get this club into the final and obviously staying in the Premier League.
Good luck tomorrow.
Kieran?
You're surrounded by West Ham fans, not least your father-in-law. So do you get that special insight into how much the fans want this first European trophy since 1965, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it's massive. And listen, I've only been here 3 years, but I feel a massive part of this club as well, and a fan almost as well. So I know how much it means for the fans, and I'm one of them that want to give them that success. So yeah, the Mrs. Old Man is obviously me every week. But no, I think for everyone, the whole club, like I said, it's not been a great season, but I think staying in the Premier League is the main aim, and bringing the trophy home for the fans would be a good end to a bad season, I'd say.
Do you feel that pressure, or do you still think back to like your Hereford days, your Hull days? This is exactly where you want to be now. This is why you became a footballer.
Yeah, I think I don't want to put too much pressure on myself. Of course I'll be critical, like I just said, on myself, but I won't let it affect me too much. I'll try and just keep playing my game, and like you said, I'm just a boy with a dream that I'm still living that dream. So, sometimes I take a look back and think where I am, but I always demand more of myself without doing it in a way where I put too much pressure on myself.
Mike? Jarrod, during the difficult results in the Premier League season, the manager has been very much the lightning rod for a lot of the criticism. As players, do you almost feel like you owe him and the club this extended run in Europe, almost to make up for the heavy going in the Premier League? Yeah, it's been a difficult season. There's no denying that, and the manager's the one that faces the press after every game, so he's the one that's got to speak. But we know as players that we haven't been at a level and the standards that we set over the last, since I've been here, 2-3 years. So it's been really disappointing. But like I said, I think the main thing was when we come back from the World Cup was to get ourselves out of the position that we was in.
you know, we're nearly there with that. There's still, you know, we're not safe yet, but there's still a lot of football to be played in that. So I think that's the main aim for the club. And then obviously getting to a European final for one is another aim of the club. And, you know, don't want to talk too much about a final because I don't want to seem like I'm disrespecting the opposition, because I know they're a top side. But you know, we can all dream of winning a trophy. I think, you know, no one would frown at us for dreaming of winning a trophy.
You said earlier on that you didn't play as well as you would have liked in the first half of the season. After missing out on the World Cup, do you look back and think, well, you've only got yourself to blame because you didn't play well when you know the manager was looking who to pick?
Yeah. Ultimately, that's what it comes down to. I wasn't good enough. So, like I said, I've accepted that, and I think that conversation's gone now because it was so long ago that I've forgot about it. And just like I said, since the World Cup, I just wanted to come back and just play free and give it back to the club for, you know, because I didn't play well in the first half of the season and we was in a bad position. So I think the main thing for me was playing my game and getting the club out of the position that we found ourselves in. So I think those are the main aims. And the disappointment of the World Cup is obviously gone now because it's a long time ago, and now I'm focused on this European tie and staying in the Premier League.
Any more for Shane? Oh, Jordan first. Start with Jordan.
Hi, Jarrod. What's changed? What's been the main thing that's changed between last year being in the semi-final and this year, and what makes you think that now you can go on and make that next step?
I don't know what's changed massively. I know the semi-final we had last year, we had a man sent off quite early on, which kind of really knocked the stuffing out of us. So maybe not get a man sent off straight away in the second leg, but. No, I think we can learn from it for sure, but I think we can take confidence from our run in Europe as well. You know, the group stage we've been really strong, and obviously the knockouts we've done well with the results there. So I think it just comes from confidence as well. And you know, I said that we can use the weekend as a springboard for that, and I think that helps with going into tomorrow's game. And
you said you almost feel like a fan. Does that bring an added pressure that you don't want to let people down around you, you don't want to let yourself down, knowing that you love the club so much? No, I wouldn't say it's pressure. It's more excitement to do it for the fans. You know, I want to do it. I want to score. If I could score the winning goal, then I'd be more than happy. You know, I wouldn't say I feel pressure for letting them down, because I don't think like that. I think how happy I can make the fans if we got to the final.
Jarrod, I remember in the first leg against Frankfurt, you had that overhead kick which hit the crossbar. Do you sometimes think, you know, what if?
Yeah, I think there's always what ifs in football, and yeah, that one would have been. I think it was quite late. I think it was like the last kick of the game that we could have gone 2-2 away from home, but it didn't go in. So that was obviously a massive what if. But like I said, I think our run last year, probably no one expected us to get to where we got to, and we just kind of kept going about our business quietly. And I think it's been the same this year, and you know, it'll be a difficult game. Lots to learn from like I said, last year's run, but a lot of confidence going into the game to get to the final.
We spoke to Vladimir before the game against Ghent. He said that loss against Frankfurt is something he still thinks about. So for you personally, how long will it take for you to go over that loss?
Yeah, no, it was disappointing because you know you're so close to for one to get into a final. I think for any player you want to get to a final for one, and then obviously you want to win the final. But I think the main thing is getting to the final. So yeah, it hurt. But if I remember rightly, it was quite a hectic schedule. We played quite early after that, so it was probably not till the off season that it fully sinks in. Because you know last year we were going for top 6, so we were disappointed with going out. It hurt a lot, but you know we was already preparing for the next Premier League game. So I think it was more probably the off season that it actually sunk in and it hurt a lot. So you know I think we can learn a lot from that hurting kind of phase that we went through and turn that into joy tomorrow night and next week.
And last from me, Jarrod, we spoke to you a few months ago, and I remember you saying at the start of the season there were times where you weren't playing like your old self, you're overcomplicating things. So what's changed between now and then?
I think I've just gone back to basics and simplified my game and know what I can do, and playing without a fear factor, so to speak. And I think that's when I play at my best football, and I feel like that I've been doing that, which I wasn't doing at the first half of the season.